should you fight for your marriage? To hold on to the words you told her of, I love you forever and always, or learn to face into the abyss and let go. Now, this is one of the toughest decisions you will ever make in your life. There has never, and probably never will, be another decision that alters your life this much. Not trying to put too much pressure on you, but the internal conflict you face is constantly on your mind, preventing you from moving forward in life. It is sapping your energy, it's causing stress, and eating away at your peace of mind. In the next few minutes, I will lay out 4 core principles to help you not only make the decision on what is best for you, but 2 core reasons on how the devil has played a role in your marriage, giving your power over your anxiety and fear by showing you the 2 hidden selves fighting for power in your mind, and a sobering statistic on the regret of divorce you need to see. And then finally, 3 impactful mindset shifts that will begin to change the actions you take to gain more peace of mind and success. I'm gonna blend this all together with a unique perspective that will create an internal strength and confidence you have never possessed, okay? That personal power will be the driving force toward your happiness and peace again. So let's jump in. Now, before we talk about making a decision, I have to tell you about the Devil of Indecision. In his book, Outwitting the Devil, Napoleon Hill says this about the process of not deciding. The majority of people who succumb to my influence drift through life without knowing what they want. That is why I take charge of their minds and control them. The devil's a master at using indecision as a breeding ground for fear. He instills the seed of fear in the form of worry, which multiplies and takes over the individual's mind, leading to a state of paralysis where they can no longer take decisive action. There are 2 core reasons on why living in indecision is bad and why not being fully in prevents you from getting success that you want in a given domain. The first is intuitive understanding. You must know how this indecision has been the corrosive acid of your relationship. She is intuitive, and ever since the seed of doubt in your mind sprang up about the relationship, she felt it. A woman's deepest need in a relationship is emotional stability, and nothing creates more safety than your committed devotion, psychologically and emotionally, and through your actions. As soon as you started to imagine a happier part of your life without her, her fear, doubt, and selfish nature started to take place in response to your doubt. With the weak masculine, a woman needs to be led in a relationship, okay? When most men hear this, they think I mean literally. I mean, yes, pick her up and carry her places if you could do that, but I mean more on a macrocosm level about the relationship, meaning she needs to know you are there for her, deciding and choosing for her. The wishy-washy nature is based on the chaos of indecision, and it causes the feminine to hold fear in their mind. Now, as the man, you must lead and create your future together. As soon as this is not 100% decisive, you will subtly and subconsciously sabotage the relationship. Now, to fix this, you must identify and integrate all parts of you. Disintegration is all the parts of you are scattered, right? There's indecision. Integration is the collection of unity and wholeness and safety. You must know what part of yourself you're listening to. My last partner before this one, we broke up and we were in so much mutual resentment with each other right before we did. Disrespect was at an all-time high. And I distinctly remember sitting there after one just tumultuous fight, thinking to myself, am I really this person? These things I'm saying, these things I'm doing? How did we get here? I thought we were good. Like, when did we get to this spot? How did it happen? And I fought, begged, borrowed, and did everything I could to make it work. I was even seeing a coach myself, reading books, I mean, everything, right? And it's a huge reason why I went into this field, actually, okay? The moment I did choose into a relationship, we were sitting there in a hotel. She was in this like funk, okay? And I remember looking at her in the eyes and just thinking to myself, like, don't you want us to be happy? Don't you want us to be back where we were? Like, I'm fighting for this. Why aren't you? I felt helpless. In that moment, the devil won. And I'll explain later if that's really a good or a bad thing, what I mean with that. But when it comes to you, you must have alignment with what you want. Go in and talk to yourself. Spend time by yourself, because in that moment, I had the part of me that still wanted to work it out, but I did have a part of me too that was being protective, that was pushing her away at times. And the more I listened to this other voice of protecting myself, the more it activated her protector. And it's just, that's what the slow disconnect over time is both of you guarding your hearts, holding on to resentment and causing disconnect. If I can go back in time and do things differently, what I would do, what you should do, is to spend time by yourself to have clarity. You need to let the dust settle before you make a decision to commit to one way or another. Once you do that, then you can focus on what you want. Now, if you're having trouble with this, having so much ambiguity or holding on to resentment, this is where our marriage evaluators come in, okay? They have had literally thousands of calls with people knowing the exact situation, exactly what you could do based on what's best for you, based on what you want, okay? And giving you that clarity. That's what the call is about. You can set that down below by clicking on the link. Napoleon Hill has another good quote summarizing this idea. To outwit the devil, one must master the dual self. This means recognizing the existence of the negative self, but not allowing it to dominate. Instead, one must nurture and strengthen the positive self, the part of you that seeks growth, improvement, and the realization of your deepest aspirations. And when you're in your head, when you're scattered, when you're disintegrated, you're not gonna have that clarity. And as an apex man on his mission to be his best self, to live your best best life, to be happy, to provide to others as a role model in your life, you must start with that clear, decisive action in your life with everything you do, especially your relationship to the person that's closest to you. I'm going to start this final point by sharing a study that it was conducted, and it revealed that at least, I found studies that were more, but this is the average one. 50% of people that chose a divorce regretted the decision once the dust has settled. So why do so many people, like your wife most likely in this situation, pull the trigger, right? When there's probably down the road, they wouldn't do that. It's because you have to recognize this about your wife right now, and the reason why she's actually pulling away. And the analogy is this: she is in a burning building and she is caught up against a window. And the only solution for her is to jump out, because being with you in the marriage, whether you believe you've changed or not at this point, is like her being in that burning building. And that's how it feels to her. And she's basing her actions and the way she's being based on her emotions toward you in the marriage. And that's just plainly it. You must accept that as a fact. But here's the thing: in that moment, let's say you're in the fire or not, it doesn't matter. Whether you're the one that wants to jump out the building, right, or she is, as much as you have a motivation to save the marriage, you lack the skill. You don't have things to put out the fire. Your ability to save your marriage right now is not a motivational deficit. It is a skill deficit, okay? You don't know what you don't know. And this is why having coaching, increased understanding, watching these videos, it gives you correct knowledge, correct information to take better and correct action, which will change your result. It's that simple. What happens, happens. Now, the lows are part of the process. Let me show you this clip.
Our relationship is not different to others. Sometimes we have the wind behind us and we sail on, and other times we tack back and forwards across the choppy waters and we feel we're going to drown. We make mistakes all the time, and getting stuck is sometimes part of the flow. And those are often the times that teach us the most. When I'm really in an uncomfortable place, I've messed up, I've disregarded somebody, I've turned away from intimacy in some way. And then to say, I'm sorry, or can I make you a cup of coffee, or let's go for a walk. Whatever it is, to just see if it's possible to move past that point together.
I recently reacted to a reel on the channel 2 of this guy.
This is how to tell if you're in the wrong relationship in 30 seconds. Over the time that you've been in a relationship with someone, has your clarity and confidence gone up or down? Has your inner and outer peace gone up or down?
And I understand the sentiment, but what he has to recognize that it is a common pattern for every single relationship, that there is this up and down, right? It's not just like with life, right? You're not always going to be getting better. Now, the majority of the time, yes, you should be. If you're actively working on yourself, you're either getting bitter or better based on the things that are happening to you. Pain is inescapable in life. Suffering is inescapable. The Buddha's had it right? Dukkha, suffering. The thing is that your response to that pain can lead to more suffering or getting better. But you're still going to have those dips, that pain, that conflict, and it is a part of the process. In our society, when we're going through those dips, what happens is we think, well, there has to be someone else better out there. But like, I know I'm getting on my soapbox right now, I'm preaching to you, and you may already know this, but I've seen it far too many times that if you don't work on these things with her right now, inevitably what's gonna happen, I'm telling you, even with a different woman who has different patterns, the same thing is gonna happen. You're gonna be like, crap, either all women are like this, which some guys do adopt, and that is sad, or there is something about me that is causing this dynamic to play out. Whatever decision you make, you must have the ability to understand that if something happens, it was supposed to. One of my darkest periods of my life was in graduate school, and I had to go to school court to fight to graduate. I won my case, but long story, I could tell you another time if you want me to in a separate video, maybe on a podcast, on one of our podcasts, but it was the darkest moment of my life. I was considering self-deletion, honestly. And I remember sitting there and I was praying every night and reading books and just like meditating and stress out of my mind. And I had a big epiphany one night. I woke up probably from some dream. I don't remember the dream, but I just remember writing down, I ran to the whiteboard and I wrote down, if something happens, it was supposed to. And I know that's like a throwaway sentence you probably heard before, like live in the present moment, or like everyone is full of love, but I felt it. Everything that happened is supposed to. So whatever you do decide, whatever happens in your marriage, there is a meaning behind it, but it's up to you to find that meaning. But to live with regret, to live with second guessing yourself, which is the whole point of this video, that's what the personal hell is. That's when the devil has you and you become a drifter. The last mindset shift I want to leave you with is that separation doesn't mean it's done. Now, we've seen this happen so many times. So let me read to you a recent example in our program of a guy. I moved out a year ago and started dating someone. She stayed with her affair partner. She broke up with him in May. I broke up with my girlfriend in June, and my ex and I are now dating. She's ready for the relationship, and I'm the one that is taking my time to make sure we do it the right way. My girlfriend is 3 months pregnant, so that's something else we'll have to deal with. But even even with all that, my ex finally opened her eyes to me and my changes. Now, I know that is a sticky situation, but the point is, we even had some of our coaches in our program who have broken up with their partners and got back together. It happens. And just because, you guys are in life and you guys came together at a certain time interval and you were together riding through life, just because there's this that happens, it doesn't mean that the path in the future is bound for you guys to be back together, but it will not happen if you are that drifter with indecision, okay? If you don't heal that resentment, if you don't integrate who you are as a man. Thanks for watching. I highly recommend this video on tests right here, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.